Small businesses are the heart of the American economy. They're responsible for half of all private sector jobs, and they create roughly 70% of all new jobs in the past decade.
Well, first of all, small businesses create over 2/3 of all new jobs in America. And if you want your economy to grow, if you want the country to be hopeful, it seems like you ought to be celebrating the talent and energy of our small business owners.
So according to the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau, small businesses are actually responsible for more than 90% of new jobs in this country. They generate more than half of the GDP and account for half of the private sector workforce.
An entrepreneur flipped on the lights in her tech startup and did her part to add to the more than 8 million new jobs our businesses have created over the past 4 years.
America's small businesses are the engine of job creation. According to the Small Business Administration, small businesses employ almost half of all private sector employees.
And that's small business. It's an engine. It's the most fundamental difference we have in terms of the backbone and strength of our economy.
It isn't in Washington, D.C. It isn't in New York City. The heart of our economy is in small businesses all across this country.
We should start where most new jobs do, in small businesses.
They are called the engine that drives the American economy. Small businesses provide jobs for more than half of the nation's workforce.
Small businesses create 2 out of every 3 jobs in this country, so our recovery depends on them.
Recognizing the fact that those small businesses make up the engine that drives our economy.
We cut taxes for 95% of working families. We cut taxes for small businesses.
So I really grew up believing that small business was at the core.
So small businesses are not only job generators, they're also at the heart of the American dream.
Small businesses are the backbone of the American economy.
Small businesses create most of the new jobs.
I want to be the small business president. I want to really help you.
We need some help.
We genuinely believe that small business is the backbone of America.
Small business is the economic engine of the United States.
Let's also eliminate all capital gains taxes on small business investment.
They create over 80% of the new jobs. Most Americans work for small businesses.
Also proposing a new small business tax credit.
Owning a small business is hard.
Small business owners across the country.
Small businesses.
Small businesses.
And all small businesses.
Small business.
And small businesses.
Small business owners.
Small businesses.
Small business.
Small business.
Small business.
Small business.
Small businesses.
Small businesses.
I want to be sure that we get small businesses starting and growing in America again. We have stalled out. I was very surprised to see that when I began to dig into it, because people were telling me this as I traveled around the country the last 2 years, but I didn't know what they were saying, and it turns out that we're not producing as many small businesses as we used to, and a recent world study said that we are 46th in the world in the difficulty to start a small business. There are lots of issues.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, you may have heard, is in New Hampshire, and she had made a comment about the economy. I wanted to get your reaction to this. Regarding small business creation, she says that small business creation has stalled out. She was surprised to learn this. It's stalled out in the United States. Does the White House agree with Hillary Clinton's analysis of the state of the economy regarding small businesses?
I didn't see the entirety of her remarks, but I can tell you that the President certainly believes that there is more that we can do here in Washington to put in place policies that will further strengthen job creation in our economy, and whether that is important investments in rebuilding our infrastructure. The President believes that we can make some common sense investments in infrastructure by merely closing some loopholes that only benefit the wealthy and well-connected. By making smart investments in infrastructure, we can create jobs right away. Many of those jobs would be created with small businesses all across the country. And we would also see a long-term economic benefit associated with a modern, upgraded critical infrastructure in this country. So,
do you agree with Hillary Clinton that under President Barack Obama, small business creation has stalled out in the United States?
I'm not sure that's a direct quote. I suspect that it's not. But I would, the President has him...
She used the phrase stalled out. She said small business creation has stalled out. Do you agree that it has stalled out?
The President himself has said many times that there are additional important steps that could be taken by Washington, D.C. where members of Congress no longer serve as an impediment to forward economic momentum, but actually that they can support it.
That's not my question, though. I just asked, do you agree that small business creation has stalled out in the United States?
Again, I didn't see the entirety of her remarks.
Forget what she said. Has small business creation stalled out in the United States?
We'll take a look at the statistics and get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. Kevin?